It's like I forgot to film at the end of the day yesterday, so this will be like a little bit of mix match between the two. I think it's been a couple weeks now since I started making these videos. I think yesterday would have been day 14, which is pretty incredible. If I'm thinking about yesterday being day 14, really the amount of quarantine I've been going through was really a month. So there was one thing I wanted to talk about last night. Well, today's Friday, so I don't think there's really too much going on as usual. I think really at work days, you can't really expect too much to go on. Yesterday, I talked a little bit about like emotional control, or maybe that was the day before. And I was just thinking, why would I say that I believe that I'm like better than most people in terms of emotional control? And I'm thinking there's almost no reason for anyone to assume that they're actually better than most people in any sort of sense. Maybe if there's a measurable statistic, I could say that my quality of life is probably better than most people just because I live in a first world country. That's probably one thing that I could probably say with confidence. Yes, I'm better than most people. But in terms of like emotional control, it's very unlikely that I can actually assume that I'm better than most people because really I have no idea. And there's no reason to assume I'm like significantly better than anyone else. Pretty much I'm probably around the same as everybody else. I can probably confidently say I'm not two standard deviations above or below the mean in terms of emotional control. I'm not like absolutely nuts. I guess in either sense it's absolutely nuts. I mean, someone who's like so incredibly calm to go through any situation, super insane. I think the same thing goes for intelligence. I think some people like to over-index certain achievements they have, like if like into Ivy League school or if they go work for a good company. And I'm just thinking, is there really a reason to assume that that makes you special? Because while it is unlikely for anyone to get into any particular setting, it's also unreasonable to think that achieving this makes you significantly better than anyone else. So I think just at the end of the day, I would like to be more humble and really not think too much about if I'm better than anyone else, because chances are I'm not. But yeah, happy Friday. I'll see you in a bit. It's the Easter weekend, right? So see you. Well, this is definitely not a healthy treat, but I couldn't resist and I got myself a half dozen of donuts. Oh my gosh. I'm going to eat all this, so watch out. It's Friday, the end of the week, start of the weekend. Here we go. Yeah, so I was just thinking about all this media stuff. So I guess there's a few things I want to touch upon today, which was one, the importance of media. I don't think there's actually anything else I want to touch upon apart from the importance of media. You know, I was just thinking about how much of an impact that media has in our lives, right? Because in some sense that it can kind of change the reality that you believe in. I was just inspired by just a talk within the podcast Pivot, where they're talking about, look at the gaming industry. Why is it something that's so huge not talked about more in popular media? Because looking at the gaming industry, it's over $100 billion in revenue annually. And this is more than the movie industry and music industry, and I believe the sports industries as well put together. So why don't we cover it more? If you look at the news, you might just think that movies and sports are like the biggest things ever, but really video games are the biggest piece of media. And just thinking, the insight was that pretty much the people who own news corporations are not interested in gaming. So in one sense, you do have insight that wow, gaming is way bigger than it actually seems to be, which is good information to have altogether, but it also goes to show how strong the media is. It's just like they can kind of hide something like, oh, games are like really nothing, right? But really it should be in the forefront of media. So going into that point, I was just thinking, wow, there's actually a lot of value in having a media presence. And eventually I think if you're the people to have control of media, you really have a lot of control over the world. I guess another noteworthy thing to know is just like, wow, video games are huge. I think there is a lot of value to be put in it. I'm not really exactly sure what to think about it. Me personally, I've been pretty big into games in my entire life, although I've kind of distanced myself away from it. And I think the only thing is because I just have a bias in my mind from my parents nagging me all the time not to play video games, that I just have this inherent notion that, well, video games are bad, but I mean, I actually still do play a lot of video games, so maybe I fought through that nagging. You know, I'm a believer in the video gamings. But yeah, that's it. So excited to have the weekend come, and I'll see you later. All right, here is a classic. As it's not a classic at all, actually. It's just leftovers. So I got a little bit of my curry, tofu, cauliflower and carrot with some of the lentils with onions all mixed together with a brown rice. I'm kind of skeptical about this, but my parents have been eating, beans with curry, so let's give it a try.